Hi guys, welcome to another video. Today is Tuesday the 19th of May and we're just coming at you with another update for immigration. Not so much an update, but there's a very important question we've been getting from people, and this question has been coming up a lot even before the COVID-19 lockdown, but especially so now. And so I just wanted to address this, and hopefully I can answer this for a lot of you. The question is essentially this: Hi David, I lost my job this month. Do I need to tell immigration? Okay, and obviously related to that is the questions of when do I need to tell them, how do I tell them, how long do I have to apply for my next visa or to get a new job? And another key question that's related to this specifically today or this week is, should I wait for the law change? Okay, so first of all, there is an obligation to inform immigration whenever there is a change in your circumstances that is material and that affects your visa status. So if you hold a visa that is dependent on your employment with an employer and you lose that job, you've been told that you're being made redundant or something has gone wrong and you no longer have that employment, then you are obliged to tell immigration about this. Now, when should you tell them? Okay, you tell them now. You tell them once you know, basically. It's not necessary to inform immigration, on that same day that you've had that discussion with your boss. Perhaps if you've been given notice of a month, then sometime during that month you would be telling them. But the point is that it should be a reasonable time. You really should be informing immigration in good faith within a reasonable amount of time. What is reasonable? It depends under the circumstances, but generally speaking, immigration expects you to tell them within a month. And what they would then do is they would likely say to you, hey, look, thanks for telling us. Within a reasonable amount of time, you now need to submit a new application, find a new job, go to study, a visitor visa, something like that. So again, what is reasonable? Depends under the circumstances. In some cases, we have seen people who have informed immigration, have been told that they need to submit a new application within 1 month. And then when that month came around, we were able to negotiate longer periods of delay, depending on the particular circumstances of that applicant. So if you want to know how to inform immigration, there are really two ways. One is either you inform them yourself directly, and you would do this by, first of all, you can look at the immigration website, you can use the search function, look through to find how to contact in the case of change of circumstances. Your employer can do that as well directly. Or secondly, you can do this via a professional advisor, lawyer. If you've used a lawyer or advisor to apply for your visa, that could be the person that you would go to. He or she can then have a direct communication to immigration regarding your status, and that way it's on the record. In some cases it's a good idea to use the advisor or lawyer, because the advisor or the lawyer will make a determination about exactly what needs to be told. In some cases, applicants are a little bit too trigger happy and they'll spew information that doesn't need to be disclosed, which can later muddy the waters. In some cases, they won't quite tell enough and to meet their obligation requirements. So keep that in mind. It can be a good idea to use an advisor or lawyer, even just to inform immigration. Now, the question of how long you have to get a new job or to apply the next visa, like I say, a reasonable time, but you've got to keep in mind that right now we're all going through some difficulty. There aren't so many jobs around. You may not be able to get an offer letter for study of a course of study that you want to try. You may not actually be able to make decisions in your life because you're not able to make movements throughout the world or to travel because of this situation that we're going through at the moment. Now, in that case, if you come to a point where that reasonable amount of time has passed, let's say a month or so, and you still are not able to apply for a new job, a variation of conditions, new work visa, or study, then immigration would be expecting you to submit an application for a visitor visa. They're expecting you to, in good faith, at the very least, to apply for something that allows you to stay in the country lawfully. They don't want you to remain indefinitely on a visa which is no longer technically valid for the purpose at which it was granted for. So, look, I won't stay too long with this video. The last thing I just want to talk about is this question that we've been getting from everyone about the new bill, right? The immigration bill, the COVID-19 amendment bill, and which has now become part of the Immigration Act. And the question is, hey, look, David, I've heard that we're all going to get an open visa. Should I wait for this to happen? And my answer is reasonably clear. No, you shouldn't wait for something to potentially happen, because we don't know what's going to come. Nobody really knows. And the information we've had directly from immigration is that, yes, the bill has passed. It's now part of the law. The minister now has these additional powers, but there have been no decisions made. What does that tell us? It tells us that they're not ready to introduce some new policy or directive for how they're going to implement, this bill or this new law. One thing that has happened is that we've started receiving emails from immigration officers for current applications in process to request information. Any information about whether the employment still exists, whether the company is still sustainable, new labour market testing, this kind of thing. And what that tells me is that immigration is collecting information, okay? The immigration officers are collecting data. Once they have enough data, a profile will be put to the minister, and the minister would then be able to make some decisions about what is the appropriate course of action going forward. So look, I know that doesn't sound as clear as it could be, but the point really is, if you need to apply for a visa now because you've lost your job and you have something to apply for, which means a new job, a variation of conditions, or a student visa or something, then now is a good time to do it, okay? Because we just don't know how long things will continue this way without a clear direction. Maybe it's a few days, maybe it's a few weeks, but who knows? 3 or 4 weeks might go by, and meanwhile we're still waiting to hear some announcement about some rumor that people may be getting an open visa, when actually the reality is that there is no decision that has been made about that. There's a lot of conjecture, there's a lot of rumors. You need to be a little bit careful about where you're hearing the information from, who it's coming from, and what source your friends or even advisors might be citing, because the point is immigration has not made any clear directive or decision about whether or not anybody will be getting an open visa. So this is something that we all need to keep in mind. Look, I hope that's been helpful. As always, if you really need help and you really don't know what to do, feel free to get in touch with us or any other specialist advisor, because one thing that's for certain, if you're going through difficult times, it can be a good idea to have a friend or a professional go in there with you to make sure that you at least don't fall into the swamp.